Welcome to Veranda IAS. In today's current affairs session, in the subject Geography and Disaster Management, we will be talking about the UNESCO Global Geoparks. The learning objective of today's LU is to discuss the global geoparks, to examine the global geoparks in news, to examine or explain the Global Geoparks Network (GGN), and to analyze the UNESCO list of global geoparks. So let's talk about this global geoparks of UNESCO. So they are actually the unified geographical regions in which the sites and landscapes of international geological significance are maintained and holistically for the purpose of conservation, education and sustainable development. They use its geological heritage in conjunction with all other aspects of the area's natural and cultural heritage to raise public awareness and to understanding of critical issues confronting society such as sustainable resource use, climate change mitigation and the natural disaster risk reduction. So let's talk about UNESCO. The UNESCO is actually created to promote education, science and culture. So there are 193 members plus 11 associated member states of UNESCO, and all the UN members except US, Israel and Liechtenstein are the members of the UNESCO. So India was a member of UNESCO from the year 1946. So apart from this global geoparks, the UNESCO, they actually released two other different kinds of designations. So they are actually the biosphere resource of UNESCO and World Heritage Sites of UNESCO. So India has around 18 biosphere resource, out of which 12 was actually recognized by UNESCO as biosphere resource. And the last biosphere reserve was the Panna biosphere reserve, which was actually in India. So the World Heritage Sites, there are 38 sites in India, out of which 30 are cultural sites, 7 are natural sites, 1 is a mixed site, which is Kanchenjunga National Park. So the last added World Heritage Site from India is the Jaipur Fort. So that's all with respect to UNESCO and the various reports, various designations of biosphere reserves and World Heritage Sites. So apart from this, there is another designation which is provided by UNESCO, that is the Global Geoparks. So let's talk about the UNESCO Global Geoparks. So in November 2021, the Indian National Trust for Art and Culture Heritage in TAC is working to have Visakhapatnam, Andhra designated as a geopark, which would include Erramatti, Dibalu red sand dunes, natural rock formations, Bora caves and volcanic ash deposits. We have seen with respect to the biosphere resource, India has 12 biosphere resources of UNESCO and it has around 38 World Heritage Sites of UNESCO. But India is yet to have a designated global geopark from UNESCO. For this, the INTAC is working to have Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh to be designated as the global geoparks. So what are the important things we want to note about this Visakhapatnam as a global geopark is that there are important places like Erramatti Dibalu. So what is the Erramatti Dibalu? It's an red sand dunes which is present in the Visakhapatnam regions. It actually present around 200 meter to 20 kilometer long with a width of 5 kilometers all along the coastal Visakhapatnam regions. So these kind of these red sand dunes, they are present only in two other places in the South Asian regions. So one is actually the Terai red sandstones, which is present in Tamil Nadu, and the another is the red sandstones, red sand dunes, which is present in Sri Lanka. So how this red sand dunes are formed? They are actually a mixture of deposits, which is marine deposits and silt dunes and red sand dunes. So these three actually combine to form this red sand dunes. So the red sand rocks, the silt dunes and the marine deposits. So they actually undergo a process called as aeolian process. That is the process, that is a deposition which is caused by wind. So that is called as aeolian process. So because of this, these red sand dunes were actually formed. So that is special about the Erramatti Dibalu red sand dunes. So the next is the natural rock formations. So these natural rock formations is dated back into the last ice age, which is 10,000 years ago, which is formed 10,000 years ago. So that is special about this natural rock formation. The another thing is Bora caves. So Bora caves is an 1 million year old cave which is present at the elevation of about 1400 meters from sea level. So this Bora caves is very much important because it has structures such as stalactite and stalagmite. So what is stalactite and stalagmite? So in caves we usually see this kind of inverted conical shapes which is present in caves. So these type of inverted conical things which is present in caves in the roof, it is called as the stalactite, and in some cases we see these cones will be developed from ground and it will reach the top, and these kind of structures we will be calling as the stalagmite. So these kind of things were actually present in these Bora caves. So the next thing is the volcanic ash deposit which is present. So this volcanic ash deposit dated back to 73,000 years because of an volcanic explosion from Toba, which is present in Indonesia. So this volcanic ash deposits were present in the Araku, Andhra Pradesh. So overall, these all the Erramatti, Dibalu, red sand dunes, the natural rock formation, the Bora caves, and the volcanic ash deposits, they combinedly were designated. They were actually, the INTAC is working to designate all these places as a global geopark. So while there are 161 UNESCO Global Geoparks located in 44 countries, India is yet to establish its own. So if the UNESCO has approved the proposal of INTAC, the Visakhapatnam and its adjoining sites, they will be as designated as country's first global geoparks. Then let's talk about the GGN, that is the Global Geopark Network. It is a non-profit international organization that was created in 2014 under French law to promote geoparks across the world. So it is UNESCO official partner in managing UNESCO Global Geoparks. So if a park is designated as global park, it was actually managed by this Global Geopark Network. So Continuing, it was established in 2004 as international partnership under the auspices of UNESCO with the mission to developing models of best practice and establishing quality standards for territories that incorporate the protection and preservation of earth heritage sites into a strategy for regional sustainable economic development. So, not only the global geoparks, they will be conserved environmentally, they will also conserved economically. So, sustainable economy. Even while GGN as a whole only meets once every 2 years, its function through a regional networks such as EGN, which meets twice a year to develop and promote collaborative activities in global geoparks through the world. So, GGN will act as an body every 2 years. So, that is an important thing we want to note for prelims. So, UPSC has the habit of asking these kind of questions like the meeting of GGN will happen in how many years. So, such kind of statement based questions can be asked in preliminary question examinations. So, moving on, let's see about some of the important or famous global geoparks. There are, we have seen there are global geoparks present around 44 countries, and let's see some of the famous global geoparks. The Fundy Cliffs and Discovery, which is in Canada, the Jiangxi and Jianggai in China, the Lauhan Vuori and Hamin Kangas, which is present in Finland, the Toba caldera, which is present in Indonesia. We have seen about the Toba volcanic deposits in Visakhapatnam. So, this Toba caldera, which is present in Indonesia, is also an global geopark. Apart from that, Rio Coca, which is in Nicaragua, and the Estrella, which is in Portugal, and Hantangang in the Republic of Korea. Apart from that, we also have Yangantau, which is in Russian Federation, the Zerdab, which is in Serbia, the Granada and Mastrajgo in Spain, and the Black Country, which is in the United Kingdom, and the Dark Nong, which is in Vietnam, and finally the Kula Salihi, which is in Turkey. So, these are some of the famous and important global geoparks which is present all across the world. So, in this LU, we have seen about the global geoparks which is in news, the Global Geoparks Network GGN, and UNESCO's list of global geoparks. That's all for today's session. Have a nice day. Thank you.